The assembly of worlds, the crystalline halls of Nexus Station floated in the void between stars, a testament to the hegemony's architectural mastery. Representatives from 47 species had gathered in the grand chamber, their forms varying, from the gaseous veil dancers to the silicon-based quartz collective. At the center of it all sat the triumvirate, three ancient races who had ruled the galaxy for millennia. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood at the human delegation's platform, her weathered hands steady on the railing. Behind her, Ambassador Chen Wei adjusted his formal robes while Dr. Sarah Okafor reviewed their data tablets one final time. They were the newest additions to this cosmic theater, humanity having achieved faster-than-light travel merely decades ago. The Zephyr matriarch's crystalline form chimed as she spoke, her voice resonating through the chamber like wind through glass. The assembly recognizes the Terra Collective. The words dripped with barely concealed condescension. Maya nodded, her gray-streaked hair catching the ethereal light. Honored delegates, humanity comes before you seeking partnership, not subjugation. A ripple of discontent passed through the alien representatives. The Morvac Chancellor's tentacles writhed in what Maya had learned was their equivalent of a sneer. Young species always speak of partnership. They learn hierarchy soon enough. The human captain's jaw tightened, but she maintained her composure. They had prepared for this. Earth's rapid technological advancement had unsettled the established order. In 50 years, humanity had gone from nuclear fission to quantum drives, from radio waves to subspace communication. The older races viewed this progress with suspicion rather than admiration. Elder Vorthak of the Obsidian Empire leaned forward, his chitinous exoskeleton creaking. The matter before us is simple. Humanity must accept the protocols of limitation. Your expansion will be regulated, your technology monitored, your military restricted to defensive parameters as defined by the triumvirate. Ambassador Chen stepped forward, his voice calm yet firm. With respect, these protocols would effectively halt human progress. We cannot accept terms that would stifle our people's potential. The Veil Dancer representative's gaseous form swirled in agitation. Potential? You speak of potential while wielding weapons that could crack worlds. Your kind discovered antimatter, containment before mastering global unity. This is not potential. It is recklessness. Dr. Okafor activated her holographic display, showing Earth's history of conflict and cooperation. We acknowledge our violent past, but we've also shown remarkable capacity for growth. In the last century alone, we've eliminated global poverty, reversed climate damage, and united under a single planetary government. We've earned the right to chart our own course. The Quartz Collective's harmonic voice resonated through the chamber. Growth through violence, unity through necessity. These are not virtues but survival mechanisms. The protocols exist to prevent young races from destabilizing the careful balance we've maintained for eons. Maya felt the weight of Earth's 4 billion souls on her shoulders. The negotiations had been going in circles for days, each session revealing the true nature of the galactic hegemony, not a partnership of equals, but a hierarchy designed to keep younger races subservient. The Zephyr matriarch raised a crystalline limb. The terms are non-negotiable, accept the protocols or face complete isolation from galactic society. No trade, no technology exchange, no protection from the dangers that lurk in dark space. You mean no competition, Maya said, her voice cutting through the chamber like a laser. You fear what humanity might become if left unchecked. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Several species shifted uncomfortably at the human's directness. Such boldness was unprecedented from a young race. Elder Vorthak's compound eyes glittered dangerously. Fear? We who have witnessed the birth and death of stars? We who have shepherded civilization for 1,000,000 years? You mistake wisdom for fear, young primate. Maya straightened, her military bearing evident despite her civilian clothes. Then let me be absolutely clear. Humanity will not accept chains no matter how gilded. We will not bow to those who see our potential as a threat rather than an opportunity. The Morvac Chancellor's translator squealed with indignation. Insolence! You have no concept of the forces at play here. Without the hegemony's protection, your species would be extinct within a solar cycle. Ambassador Chen placed a restraining hand on Maya's arm, but she shrugged it off gently. The time for diplomacy had passed. Protection? Is that what you call it when the Andromedans requested your aid against the Void Hunters? When the Tau Ceti colony was consumed while you debated protocol? Shocked silence filled the chamber. No young race had ever dared mention the hegemony's failure so openly. The veil dancers' form darkened to an ominous purple. You go too far, human. Your species stands at a crossroads. Submit to the natural order or face the consequences of isolation. Maya turned to her companions. Dr. Okafor nodded grimly. Ambassador Chen sighed but gave his assent. They had discussed this possibility, hoped it wouldn't come to this, but Earth's leaders had been clear. Humanity would forge its own path or none at all. The human captain faced the assembly one final time. Then we choose freedom over subservience. Humanity formally withdraws from these negotiations and from the galactic hegemony. The chamber erupted. Species that hadn't shown emotion in centuries gestured wildly. The Quartz Collective's harmonics reached a discordant crescendo. Even the ancient triumvirate seemed taken aback by the human's audacity. You cannot. The Zephyr matriarch's voice shattered several decorative crystals. No species has ever refused. The protocols. Maya was already moving toward the exit, her delegation following. Then we'll be the first. Humanity stands alone if necessary, but we will stand. As they reached the massive doors, Elder Vorthak's voice boomed across the chamber. You doom your species to extinction. The galaxy is not kind to the isolated. Maya paused at the threshold, turning back one final time. Perhaps, but we'd rather face extinction as free beings than live eternity as slaves. The doors sealed behind them with finality. In the grand chamber, 47 species sat in stunned silence. For the first time in recorded history, a young race had rejected the established order. Some felt fear, others curiosity, and a few, though they would never admit it, felt something approaching admiration. The Morvac Chancellor was the first to speak. They'll come crawling back within a cycle. They always do. But the Zephyr matriarch stared at the closed doors, her crystalline form trembling with an emotion she hadn't felt in millennia. Uncertainty. No, she whispered. These humans. They're different. As the human delegation boarded their ship, the Ansible networks across the galaxy buzzed with the news. Humanity had done the unthinkable. They had looked at the most powerful alliance in known space and simply said no. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what would come next. Part 2. The Echo of Defiance. The news hit Earth like a supernova. Every screen, every neural feed, every quantum channel blazed with the same message. Humanity withdraws from galactic hegemony. Earth stands alone. In the underground command center beneath Mount Cheyenne, General Michael Torres watched the cascade of reactions. Across Earth's colonies, Luna Base reported increased military readiness. The Mars Terraform project accelerated its defensive protocols. The asteroid mining stations began converting industrial equipment into makeshift weapons platforms. Status report, Torres commanded, his voice steady despite the magnitude of their situation. Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka's fingers danced across her holographic interface. All defensive systems operational. The quantum barriers around Earth just went active. Every available ship is being recalled to Sol system. The general nodded grimly. They had wargamed this scenario 1,000 times, but the reality felt different, heavier. And the research divisions? Project Prometheus is accelerating. Dr. Reyes says they can have the prototype operational within 6 months instead of 2 years. Torres allowed himself a small smile. Prometheus, humanity's ace in the whole, a technology so revolutionary that they'd kept it hidden even from their own colonies. The hegemony thought they understood human potential. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Across the solar system, humanity transformed overnight. The species that had once fought world wars now united with singular purpose. Factories that produced consumer goods retooled for defense production. Scientists who had competed for grants now shared research freely. The transformation was remarkable, and the galaxy watched with growing unease. On Nexus Station, the triumvirate convened an emergency session. The Zephyr matriarch's form flickered with agitation. They're mobilizing faster than our models predicted. Elder Vorthak studied the intelligence reports. Impossible. They lack the infrastructure for total system defense. Our economic sanctions alone should cripple them within 30 rotations. But the Veil Dancer representative hesitated. Their quantum signatures, they're doing something we don't understand. The energy patterns don't match any known defensive technology. The hegemony's response was swift and predictable. Trade embargoes locked down every human-friendly port. Resource shipments to Sol system ceased. Diplomatic channels closed. They had done this before to rebellious species, squeezed them until they begged for readmission. Yet humanity didn't buckle. Instead, something extraordinary happened. On Europa, Dr. Elena Vasquez made a breakthrough that would change everything. "My God," she whispered, staring at the quantum resonance readings. "It's not just theoretical anymore. We can actually fold space-time at the subatomic level." Her assistant, Dr. James Park, double-checked the calculations. "This changes everything. We don't need their hyperlanes. We don't need their navigation beacons. We can create our own paths through space." The discovery spread through humanity's scientific network like wildfire. Within weeks, prototype drives were being tested. Within months, the first human ships were jumping through space without using the established routes controlled by the hegemony. The galactic community watched in stunned silence as humanity didn't just survive isolation, they thrived. Mining operations expanded into previously unreachable systems. Colony ships ventured beyond the hegemony's borders. Human traders appeared in neutral space, offering technologies that seemed to leap ahead by decades overnight. The Morvac chancellor summoned his advisors in panic. How? How are they advancing so quickly without access to the knowledge banks? His science advisors' tentacles drooped in confusion. They're not following normal development patterns. It's as if they were holding back before. The truth was even more startling. Humanity hadn't been holding back. They had been learning. Every restriction, every limitation, every patronizing protocol had been studied, understood, and quietly circumvented. The hegemony had taught humanity the rules of the galaxy. Now humanity was rewriting them. 6 months after the withdrawal, Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the bridge of humanity's first Prometheus-class vessel, the UES Defiance. The ship was a marvel, sleek, powerful, and equipped with technologies that the hegemony insisted were impossible for a young race to develop. "Captain," her navigation officer reported, "we're receiving a transmission from Nexus Station. The triumvirate requests an audience." The bridge crew exchanged glances, requests, not demands, not summons, requests. Maya settled into her command chair. "Put them through." The holographic display materialized, showing the 3 ancient races. The Zephyr matriarch spoke first, her tone noticeably different from their last encounter. "Captain Rodriguez, we appreciate your willingness to communicate." "The hegemony has something to say?" Maya kept her voice neutral, though satisfaction coursed through her veins. Elder Vorthak's chitinous features seemed to struggle with the words. "Recent events have prompted reassessment. Your species' rapid advancement suggests we may have miscalculated." The Veil Dancer's form swirled in what Maya now recognized as embarrassment. "The protocols were designed for typical young races. Humanity appears to be atypical." Maya leaned forward slightly. "Are you offering to renegotiate?" The 3 ancients exchanged glances, a very human gesture they seemed to have adopted. The matriarch continued. "We propose a new arrangement. Full membership in the hegemony, equal standing, shared technology, no limitations." The bridge of the Defiance fell, silent. This was beyond their wildest expectations, not just acceptance but equality.
Everything they had originally asked for. Maya stood slowly, her expression thoughtful. Your offer is appreciated, but humanity has learned something valuable in our isolation. We don't need your permission to explore the stars. We don't need
your protection to survive, and we certainly don't need your approval to advance. The triumvirate recoiled as if struck. You refuse? No, Maya smiled. We'll accept membership, but as equals, not supplicants. And the protocols of limitation? They end. For everyone. Every young race deserves the chance to reach their potential without artificial constraints. The galaxy held its breath once more. A young race wasn't just demanding equality for themselves, they were demanding it for all. The Zephyr matriarch's form flickered through a spectrum of colors before settling on a deep blue of acceptance. Your terms are acceptable. As the connection closed, Maya's crew erupted in celebration. They had done more than secure humanity's future. They had changed the fundamental structure of galactic civilization. In the months that followed, the hegemony transformed. Young races found themselves suddenly free to advance without restriction. Technologies flowed freely. Cooperation replaced coercion. And at the center of it all stood humanity, not as conquerors or rebels, but as catalysts for change. The Morvac Chancellor, watching human ships jump through space with their impossible drives, turned to his aide. We thought they would destroy the balance. His aide nodded slowly. They did, and built something better. On Earth, in a small apartment in New Geneva, an old woman watched the news feeds with tears in her eyes. Her grandson, wearing the uniform of the United Earth Fleet, sat beside her. You were right, Grandma, he said softly. You always said humanity's greatest strength wasn't our weapons or our technology. She patted his hand, her voice thick with emotion. It's our stubborn refusal to accept impossible as an answer. We don't just adapt to the universe, we make the universe adapt to us. Above them, the stars shone brighter than ever before, and somewhere among them, human ships sailed freely, carrying with them the message that would echo through eternity. Freedom is not granted, it is taken, and once claimed, it must be shared. The galaxy would never be the same.